And we are live. What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? This is Judah Rad. We're waiting on Robo because he's eating, and I guess eating is somehow more important than this. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk to him about it. We'll ask him what he ate when he shows up. Be sure to ask him that. I see some people in the chat. Comics will break your heart. Aramis, Michael, it's good to see you. I hope everyone's doing well. And we have a special guest today. We have Kevin Roditeli, who is the head editor of the licensing division for Behemoth and the writer of Freak Snow Washed in Blood, which came out in 2020, and the upcoming Freak Snow Revenge is a Drug, which is coming in May. What is up, Kevin? How are things?
Dude, I'm doing good, but I just need to take a break of the show just to say that comic will break your heart. Right now in the comments, it's such a fucking cool name for YouTube.
Yeah.
So props to you, comics will break your heart. Man, I'm doing good. Like a proud little Canadian, I got my Tim Horton.
Right on.
my little energy for the show. But yeah, it's super fun. I love running a pre-order through previews. It's kind of it's a marathon, so there is 2 days left to order Freak Snow #1, which the code is right there. I'm doing my marketing thing. And
right on.
So if you want it, do it now.
Don't miss it.
You don't have time.
And I've already seen it. I'm not going to tell anybody what happens, but it's pretty neat. And I think you're going to like it. Real Thanks, quick, dude. I just want to take a moment to recognize someone. So Ace did something really cool today. She did this. I'm going to share my screen really quick just so everyone can see this. So Ace is in the chat right now, and Ace did this piece right here of Gail Simone.
Dude, that's freaking cool.
it's wow. Cool, right? But you want to know the cool thing? The cool thing is that they tweeted it to Gail. Gail liked it, retweeted it, and also made it her profile. Like,
dope as fuck.
Yeah, right?
Great. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, isn't that dope? I saw that. I was amazed. I was like, wow, that is really cool. So congrats to Ace in the chat.
Gail is a fucking legend.
Yeah.
I love her stuff. It's crazy. Such a geek writer.
Yeah, she did. I think I was introduced to her. Most people know her from DC. I was actually introduced to her Red Sonja shit, which was like badass.
Yeah, that was a really good era for Dynamite.
Yeah, definitely. That was before the dark times of Dynamite. But
yeah. Man, but speaking of Dynamite, if you did not read the Mars Attack by Kyle Scraw, I don't remember who did it, but the last Mars Attack run was so
Kyle
good,
Starks.
Man. I'm not
Kyle
sure if it was him, but let me Google it. But that was so good, man.
Well, shameless plug. We're interviewing him tomorrow, so I'll ask.
Shit. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not him. And I just thought it was.
Right on. So I have to ask, Kevin, where did you get this idea for Freak Snow?
Man, I just really love the game Fallout and Borderlands. And I hate winter. I'm from Quebec, and we have like some really intense winter out here. A lot of snow, ice, and really cool weather. So I just combined my hate for winter and my love for Fallout and Borderlands, and in the blender, and Freak Snow is born. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that was the first book. And that first book was a big inspiration for me. I mean, the first book is really Borderland-ish. The vibe is super Borderland. You can feel even the humor. We got some piss joking into it. And after we go in something really deep, and just a mix of deepness and really retarded stuff. And I really wanted the vibes of Borderlands into the books, because for me, like, the balance of humors in those games are just perfect. Like, the writers are super good, and bringing it to comics was something I really wanted to do, but with my own taste and my own personal background, which is the Quebec vibe, of hating winter. And Freak Snow is pretty much that. It's a coming of age of a little boy stuck in that winter and trying to find his own path. and that was the first Freak Snow book, and it was pretty much really personal story. You know, I'm the main character of that thing.
Awesome. Yeah. And you got one thing right. It is really fucking cold in Quebec. Um, I used to go snowboard there back in the day up in Mount Tremblant. And yeah, it's like minus 10 degrees sometimes. It's like insanely cold.
Even worse than that, man.
Yeah.
we can get to minus 30.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a gentle breeze, but I feel like that's a little too much for me. One of the things that really stands out about this book is the aesthetic. It's very scratchy kind of art,
Mhm.
and it kind of conveys that flurry, like snowy vibe. What was collaborating with Rob Cannon like? Like, how did you guys link up, and then what's the actual creative exchange been like?
So me and Rob, we've been working together since 2016. Probably we started like our own publishing label in 2016. Was our first company, and I was looking for a first project to publish. So I just did I just made a post in a Facebook group and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a book to publish," but I had no experience in publishing. I suck hard at publishing at that time. And Rob sent me his book, which was David Saint Six. And I was like, oh, damn, that artist is so good. I want to work with that guy. And we started to chat and stuff like that. And we really became friends. And now we collaborate on Freaks now, since we killed it at that label at the time because we wanted to focus on creative thing. And we just like did all the mistake a publisher can do at that time because we had no experience and background into it. So, and after losing a couple of $1,000s, we're like, oh, let's create our thing together.
Right.
So we did do Freak Snow, and it's a friendship, so it's pretty cool to work with someone that's your friend first of all, and not just like sending a script, waiting for art. We really worked together on those books. And ever on the new series, Revenge is a Drug, it's really a co-writer process that we had on this one. The first one was really right by me and art by Rob. But the second one, we did really collaborate on the writing as well because we wanted to have this different process and different vibes in the second book because the artwork is totally different. And it's really a different type of adventure that we wanted to give. And there is a reason for that, but it's a twist in the book.
Oh, a twist. Okay.
Oh, it's a twist. I'm in like Shyamalan of comics.
Like a nice Shyamalan. That's right. What can you tell us? I know that you don't want to spoil anything, but what can we expect from Revenge is a Drug?
So Revenge the Drug follow a guy named Bernie in a frozen wasteland, and that guy is just really addict to a psychedelic drug. And the issue started that he is in the middle of a trip, and he forgot where he did put his daughter and wife. And just like, what the fuck did I do with my family? And he has two imaginary friends, a can of beer, and old robot toys from like the 70s. And those two guys are like, maybe you did kill them, and and he just goes into a journey to find out if he did kill them or just left them where they are. And we don't even know if those person exist for real. We don't know where that guy is going. He is super high with those two weird friends in a really dangerous wasteland.
Super trippy.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So 2 days left to pre-order. And this is going to come out in May. Which day in May? I wasn't able to figure.
26. So last Wednesday of May, and you need to pre-order with the previous catalog, and the code is right there. So you just give that to your comic book shop, or you go to the online website of your local comic book shop, or your online provider for comics, and you put that code, and you'll find a book.
Cool, and we'll throw that link in the video description after we're done here.
Thank you, dude.
So you deal with the licensed comics for Behemoth. I happen to love licensed stuff, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
What IP did you guys were you guys able to draw in? What can we expect as far as licensed material from Behemoth going forward?
So far, I can tell what so far is released, but I cannot really talk about the future because we have a lot of shit that is not announced yet, and I can for NDA, and I don't want to destroy our release plan and stuff like that. So for license so far, we did release Outline Miami into comics, and that game is probably like the game that started the wave of really popular indie game on Steam, PC, and after they go on console with it. But I think that's the game that really started the indie game on PC that sell more than actually triple A games. It's really crazy. Oh yeah, Danny, you rock. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty crazy what Hotline Miami did start on Steam. Like we see some AAA game that sell less than something that been done by one developer. So and that was the game. We did a Girl Walk Home Alone, which is an indie flick, super good indie flick, and the comics did sell really well. The first issue was 10,000 copies of pre-orders, and we are even for just the first run. And after we got some reprint, so that comics did do super well. And our next EP is released through my imprint. It's named MFKZ. The movie is right now streaming on Netflix. You can go watch it. It's an animated film. It's insane, man. And I'm super excited because I did grab today the April previews catalog, and well, the number one is in that catalog, so I'm super excited to release that book because MFKZ, before being an animated film on Netflix, was, because my first language is French, and it's a French book, and that's the compendium of MFKZ, 600 pages. There is there is a 5 other spin-off, and there is now a second run gonna be like that coming up.
Damn.
So we are releasing the number one of MFKZ. So we are starting from the bottom of that book. And
cool.
So our plan with that is going to be a flagship title. So we really want the number one to do good and that we can release forever because we have content forever of that thing. So
damn.
So our goal is to make that thing and Freak Snow kind of our Hellboy and Black Hammer like Dark Horse does. So that's our two titles I really want to push at Happy Thing. And I'm super excited because that's my favorite French comics, and bringing it to the US is super exciting. And also, what does help us to bring that IP that is super known in French but not known here, it's actually the movie that get like a cult following with the Netflix release in the US. That's something really cool with streaming. Like some movies that will not get normally a distribution, now with streaming it can go viral and have like a following. So that's super cool that MFKZ had a good reception on Netflix, and that we can now release that and be sure that we're gonna have good numbers with the book because it's insane. I can show you some art from Ron.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Let me show you.
You're big.
Stuff. Boom, that's super cool.
Ooh.
So yeah, the art style is so cool.
So when I think of French comics, the first name that comes to mind is Mobius or like Hodorowski,
right.
Like the In Call kind of stuff. Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, the art style is super good, and
like
Ron it. And Ron, it's pretty crazy because that guy is pretty much the Todd McFarlane of France. He made like his universe, never stopped to release book, and he got the label 619 that is his own publishing company, publish other people. So it's pretty much the Todd McFarlane of France. So it's kind of crazy to bring that to the United States.
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
I definitely want to check it out. How much is that big volume? How much does that cost?
Oh, the big that's a French book, so that's not what we're releasing, and that was like $60 or something like that. But the number one that we're releasing, the previews, gonna be we are making like a big fucking first issue with 54 pages into it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. We have 6 covers in the previews. Really want to.
Sounds like a $4.99, right? Or
$5.99. We did go for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more than double size, so we did go a little bit bigger on the pricing because we really want to have like a good paper and stuff like that for people.
Cool. Let's take a look at the chat really quick. Going back, so I heard a rumor that you all freaking only freaking like comics. That's true. I only freaking like comics.
Hell yeah.
Michael freaking does. What's up, Danny? Danny pre-ordered the book. Want to apologize to Ace. They, them, not she. Oh. That was my bad. I apologize. Best day ever in reference to Gail Simone. Hell yeah. What does Mar 21? That's a publishing date code, right, or something like that.
Right, that's Diamond. When you order with Diamond, it's always with
Mm-hmm.
code because there is so many books that you cannot write a title. Or for example, Spider-Man, there is like 8 series of Spider-Man at a time every month. So it's with the code that Diamond identified a book. So it's really important to go with code and not the title of something when you search online.
Gail's Secret Six. Yep. That was a good time. Michael Malone has a confession. He's only read House of M for the first time in the hospital last week. I'm letting the community down. You're not letting anyone down, and I hope you get better.
And man, there is so many comics out there that
Yeah.
we did not read anything. No one did actually read something.
And Ace has added your book to their pull
Hell
box as
yeah!
well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. And then Persepolis is a well-known French title, I believe. I don't know it,
cool.
but
pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the French market is so huge. It's bigger than the U.S. For example, MFKZ in France did sell 300K of copies, and and there is many books like that sell 100 of copies in France, and it's something like regular to happen in France. And here, if you sell like 100 copy plus, 100,000 copies plus, is one of the biggest hit of the decade, So it's a totally different market.
So what have you been reading lately? Like just recreationally or not necessarily connected to work?
That's my book for tonight. Honor.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
a
need
good
to read.
one.
It's pretty dope. I have a chat with David this afternoon, and I got the issues, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's I wrote it with inspiration of Fallout." And I said, "Dude, I wrote this with the inspiration of Fallout." So, so I can't wait to go into it and see what's the Fallout thing about it. And I don't even know what it is. I just really love Dave, and I wanted to read his new book, so I'm super excited to jump into it. But what I did, man. To be honest, I did not really read something super recently, so because I'm so much into the publishing and stuff like that. I just read like submission, but I still take my pull lists and stuff, so I have like a pile like that.
Yeah,
but I didn't read the Berserker #1 because I had to. Like everyone had to read that one.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was really
Yeah.
awesome. I love it, man. And dude, it's Berserker is so important for the comic book industry right now. I don't know if people realize it, but this is like I think that the release of that book just created a new age of the comic, and I'm sure that every publishers will release now comic by actors and bring back numbers of the 90s in some sort with actors attached to it. So I'm sure that we are getting into an era where there will be a casting for comics. It's gonna be crazy, dude.
I could see that going south real fast.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. We had some controversy. We were talking about Berserker. Like, I think everyone was excited about it because everybody loves Keanu and everybody loves Matt. Everybody loves Matt Kindt. So I think we're all really stoked to see it. But I think a lot of people, and I understand where they're coming from. We're like, well, if they can fund their own book, like if Boom and Keanu Reeves have the money to fund their own book, why are they even using Kickstarter? Maybe save that for like creators that don't have the resources to publish their work yet. So we kind of had a back and forth about it. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is just like Kickstarter at some point is a pre-order platform. I understand that it's to kickstart project and stuff like that. But man, I want more big project like that on Kickstarter. Just bring more eyes on the platform. There is a lot of people that were mainstream readers that never bought something on Kickstarter that now have a Kickstarter account, and just because they were on the website, they did go through and see a more independent project and said, "Oh, that one looked cool. I will back it too."
Right.
I mean, it's just more eyes on the platform, and that's just great for any creators. So, personally, I have nothing against it. I mean, it's not. They are not taking sales from other creators on the platform because man, if they sell it on another platform, they will sell the book anyway. So it's so huge that they will say it wherever they say that the pre-order is. So it's just good for Kickstarter because that pre-order, if that pre-order was just like on the Boom website, well, no eyes on your book, just eyes on the book titles, you know.
That makes
So
sense. And there's
so
a lot of,
it's
I mean, he funded the hell out of that comic book. He got so much
hell
money for
yeah,
that book. So not most of those people, I'm willing to bet it's their first time ever on Kickstarter. So
totally. And
I think you're
and
right.
I think it's looked worse in some way when we look at numbers and stuff like that because on Kickstarter we know how much people did, you know, with a project. But they will have done the same money, maybe not because Kickstarter have this thing, this community thing going on with stretch goal and stuff like that, and you see the amount of money going on, so you put you put more money into it because you say, oh, that will be good if they hit that amount of money and stuff like that. But it's I think they will make the money anyway. So it's but man, I'm so happy that Boom does that, and I hope that more publishers, more really know people goes on the platform because it's good for every creators.
Okay. I think that's a convincing argument. I tend to agree. So real quick, we're gonna continue to the news in a second, but just real fast, I'm gonna make myself large, and I'm gonna tell you guys about Sin Eater from John Simmons. So check this out: 14 men and women survive the destruction of the Tower of Babel or Babel. I don't know. They are tasked with saving man's soul through the act of consuming all of accumulated sin. Through the ravages of time, the Sin Eaters are always there. They view everything that you have ever done and defeat your inner demons in order for your soul to be free. Sin Eater follows Marcus and Jin as they try to absolve mankind's sins, but something dark and sinister lurks in the shadows. Someone or something is causing these demons to manifest in the real world. Can Marcus and Jin discover who is behind this plot to destroy mankind, or will the world fall into chaos? This is Sin Eater from John Simmons. The Kickstarter is live. And if any of that sounds cool to you, which it definitely sounds cool to me, check out the video description and go ahead and back this project. Anyway, yeah, that sounds pretty cool to me. I just love that people make their own comic books, like that you don't have to rely on a big publisher anymore. I think that's one of the greatest things to happen in like the modern era.
Yeah, totally. With the internet, you have the freedom to do it. You have the free, and with social media and stuff like that, you can build a fan base. And it not every project need $1 million. You know, there is some stuff that you can do with a few thousand, and it's super easy for anyone. You know, to raise a few thousand. You just need to be on social media for a couple of months and talk about your project, and you can raise $3,000-4,000 easily. So if you have like a dream project, just go on your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, and say, "Hey, I have that thing, and I'm gonna kickstart it." And you can. Anyone can. If you have dream, go for it, guys.
Yeah, agreed. So, are you a fan of Grant Morrison?
I did not read a lot of Grant Morrison, but it's fucking funny because a lot of people said that my book, Watching the Blood, is super Grant Morrison-ish. So I need to get his shit, but I did not, honestly, too much.
So, yeah, they have some. They did an amazing X-Men run. Is called New X-Men, and it's I think one of the most iconic X-Men runs ever. And they did some amazing Batman stuff, but this is brand new, leaked. Grant Morrison, yeah, leaked. Grant Morrison is going to be writing Superman: The Authority.
Nope.
So while DC Comics has yet to make an official announcement, Penguin, Random House, and Amazon are listing a hardcover publication collecting a 2-issue story titled Superman and the Authority, written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by Michael Janin. Fan favorites Superman and the Authority are brought together in a story we know very little about at this point. That's how a lot of stuff leaks. Like Amazon lists the trade, and then everyone knows it's happening before it's announced.
Yeah.
They need to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Even in the video game industry, it's always like GameStop, the video game on the table. It's the same thing for comics, and that's so cool. Is it the black out in the Black Label collection?
No, I think it's mainline DC continuity, and it's gonna involve the Midnighter and the Enchantress and Manchester Black, OMAC, Apollo,
Cool.
Natasha Irons. I think it should be pretty exciting to a lot of people. I just I'm kind of ashamed, but I didn't get into Midnighter until like last year, and
Oh, the character is so cool, dude.
fucking awesome. Yeah, so cool.
Did you like the future states?
I liked a lot. I didn't read all of it, but I really enjoyed the Wonder Woman and the Batman. I thought it was pretty awesome. I want to go back and read more of it, but I think I'm gonna have to just like wait for a trade collection or
Yeah.
something because it's just so many comics. Did you read it? What did you think?
No, I'm waiting for the trade as well.
Yeah.
I was like, there is too much, but I'm already late, so okay, trade. So I did
Right.
not, and it's super weird because there is some people that say, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good," and others is like, "Oh, it's all trash." So I don't know what to think about it. So I'm really curious. And most of the time, the best stuff I read of my life is when people hate or love. I think the best piece of art is always when people hate or love. When everyone say it's good, it's just because it's something average, you know.
It's just the status quo, right?
There you go. So normally when it's hate or love, it is pretty good. So that's why I'm excited about it.
I've never heard that before. That's a good way to look at it. Like something provoking and like different. You know it's going to be that if there's a
Right.
huge disparity between how people feel about it.
Yeah, that's from the filmmaker Nicolas Refn, which did the movie Drive, Only God Forgive, some really artsy movies, and it's most known one is Drive with Ryan Gosling, and he was at the premiere of his movie Only God Forgive at Cannes, and he was going back. Like the movie was just good boo at Cannes Festival because Cannes Festival is like that. Like if they don't like something, they just like throw arrow to yourself and kill you on the place. You know, it's super crazy how Cannes Festival is so rude. And there is a documentary that was made by his wife, and they were in the limousine after the screening of the movie, and he was crying like, and his daughter say at some point, Dad, it's just a movie. And everyone, you can't just cry when you hear that. And after that, Nicolas just replied to his daughter. I think it was his wife that said that's Nicolas from the Refn. She said, when people hate or love a piece of art, it's because it's good. And I was like, yeah, that's make a lot of sense. So I needed a broken film director in limousine to teach me that.
That does make sense. I like it. I like it. I'm going to start saying that now, but when I say it, I'm going to say it as if it was just my own original thought, and I'm not going to give anyone else any credit. Is that okay? Is that right?
Therefore, go for it. Go for it.
Cool. So check this out. Milestone. Is anyone excited about Milestone? Because DC has just announced that new issues of Static Season 1, Icon, and Rocket Season 1, and Hardware Season 1 will go on sale digitally and in print simultaneously. Spinning out of you think that's a good thing? You like that?
It's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. There's a demand for Milestones for like 20 years. Like everyone's like, when it's come back?
Okay. Milestone, definitely a good thing. I was asking about the digitally and physical at the same time. That's not what you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that because from the numbers we got, for example, at Behemoth, digital and print is two different readers. I mean, I don't think that digital did actually rob readers to the print like different industry, like music, for example, that everyone is in streaming and Fox CD. And the reason why, just like for example, me, I cannot read a book digitally. Like I don't have the attention to be on my iPad or my cell phone and enjoy a book. I really need to feel the paper to have the attention and get into a story. And I think that's why book and bookstores are still doing well in 2021, just because, well, most of the human being cannot focus in front of a screen. And there's, I think that reading a book, especially comics, since there is a lot of images, you need to feel them and you need to just see it and have the attention, move your head around the comics. And there is something that you cannot do with phone. And same thing, what I hate about digital comics personally, like when you get a spread like that,
yeah,
you don't feel how big that spread is on your phone or your tablet.
You either need a comic book in your hand or you need a giant tablet that's like a big screen TV.
There you go. And
it's funny you mentioned the distraction. Like when I'm reading, I have to put my phone in the couch cushion just so I don't see it. You know what I mean? So.
But yeah, that's something we have seen. It's just like the digital sales go up and the print go up as well. So it's kind of two different. I think it's two different readership. What I have seen is like I think that since there is a lot of video game getting adapted in comics, which was not the case before because video games were not as big or just were not culturally linked
Right.
to comics.
Low
Video,
art or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. And video game players buy their game in Steam, on Steam, PlayStation digitally, most of it. Like the physical copies of video games are pretty much dead. Since they are already consuming digitally, they consume their comics digitally. But they are not comic book creators, first of all. So they become comic book creators through gamings. So I think that that's my theory, that a lot of the digital readers are actually gamers that goes into comics because of all the adaptation there is right now. Our people who doesn't have access to physical comics, doesn't want to pay shipping because they don't have like a local comic book shop and stuff like that. Just it makes sense, but that's pretty cool. I think that there is more comic creators than there was 20 years ago, for example.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
And probably ever, because if we go to the 90s, the crazy amount of copies that were selling, they were all based on speculation. There was not more readers of comics, or maybe there was a little bit more, but it was pretty much all speculation. People were like bagging 50 copies of Spawn #1. There was not 50 readers for those 50 copies. They were
Yeah.
just like one guys that just
It's so
believing they will
sad.
be millionaire with it.
It's so sad because the industry sort of started to depend on that speculator market.
Yeah.
That's speculator market, and like I don't think they're gonna. I mean, that's not a sustainable business plan. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's good that they start to kind of maybe drift away from that and not have to make 50 variants for each issue. You know,
Right.
So it's going to be the Milestone is going to be digital and physical. Spinning out of Milestone Returns Infinite Edition #0, you're going to have Static Season 1 #1 by Vita Ayala. Crisscross and Nicolas Draper Ively goes on sale on June 15th. Icon and Rocket Season 1 #1 by Reggie Hudlin, who I love. He's been on the show before. Leon Chills and Doug Braithwaite, who also just illustrated ENIAC #1 for Bad Idea. So it's going to look awesome. It's going to be a beautiful comic. We got Hardware Season 1 #1 by Brandon Thomas, Dennis Cohen, and Bill Sienkiewicz. I'll never be good at pronouncing his name, but yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz goes on sale August 10th. So Polly I don't know if Polly's in the chat, but she is a big Bill fan, so she'll probably buy that. You and I were just talking about Berserker. Well, one thing that we didn't mention before is that it's already been optioned for a movie and animated series by Netflix.
Man, my theory, and I said it at the moment they finish a Kickstarter, I'm like, oh, the option is already on that thing. They just don't announce it now because they want to sell the #2, because we know it was sure without the covers and shit like that with the #1 that the sales were so high. I think it was like 800,000 something, like 800 on thousands, I don't know, copies. It was freaking crazy. Nearly 1 million copies of Berserker #1 was out. So the only way to have like not a really big drop on the #2, you need to announce your option there at the moment that the #2 pre-order are. So people buy the #2, buy the reprint on #1. So which is a really good strategy for Boom. But I'm sure that even at the moment of the Kickstarter, the movie and the deal with Netflix was already signed. Just with some PR move that was super intelligent. I think that they did no mistake.
As soon as Keanu Reeves even said the word Berserker, there was a whole bunch of people like bidding
for
on.
Sure, sure, man. Even before that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves comics? I don't want to know what's your comic. Just sign there.
Like 10 years ago. One day, if you ever attach your name to a comic, we want to make it on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an anime series, which is cool. And Keanu's going to star in both of those projects. So I think we can expect Berserker. My prediction, I think Berserker's one day going to be its own fandom, like a Star Wars like fandom of people that are obsessed with Berserker. I think it's going to be like that.
Probably. I mean, with the numbers that they are right now and all perfect they are with the business plan of that EP, it's just crazy how they make no mistake with it. It's just like a banger after a banger. They are making Amran like Babe Ruth, dude. So
yeah.
So I don't see it fail right now. Just like two too perfect to be a failure at some point. We'll see. Maybe the movie gonna be super bad. Maybe the anime gonna be super bad. It's gonna kill the thing. But I don't believe so. And if they bring the artwork of the comics into an anime, it's gonna be crazy, man. The Frank Miller-ish vibes. It's just so cool that I want to watch an episode of that show every day of my life.
Oh, I want to see someone get beaten to death with their own
Yeah,
arm.
dude. And dude, since it is Netflix, they will have the rated R. You know, there is no Netflix are super cool with that. So that's probably the only place that, or Amazon Prime, that they could have been going like super rated R with the anime and put the blood everywhere. You know, so that I'm super happy that Netflix got it, and probably was part of the contract to just be, hey, Berserker is super gore in the comics. It's need to be like that for the anime and film, and that's why it's Netflix probably.
I feel like I'm seeing Matt Kindt's name everywhere. So, you know, he's attached to this Berserker project, and then he just released that ENIAC #1. And then he's also releasing more Mind MGMT. And I mean, he used to write Unity, and he's currently writing Exo Manowar, I think. Like, that dude is writing he's a busy man. And I really like his style, so I look forward to seeing.
He is a good writer, and man, he is the most selling writer in comic book industry since I don't know when. So
Yeah.
I think we will just see more books from that guy. You know, he is great. So it's nothing to complain about it. I think that's a good news for the comic industry that Matt is one of new flag creator. You know, and that's cool because I think that's something that comic book industry was lacking right now. No new writer that you look forward to it. Like we had back then, like Garth Ennis, Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, like you said, like those big writer name that you were looking for the next thing. And it's been a while that we didn't have like a writer that really blew up mainstream in the comics that everyone knows his name and go it for it.
We had Bendis like throughout the 2000s, and then Donny Cates, like
Donny Cates for sure, yeah.
Like 2018, definitely like.
But someone outside of like the Marvel and DC big two things and really come out. It's been a while that there was not like a name. I think probably some people.
I think you're right. It's cool.
Maybe Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire did blow up as well outside, but he did some stuff for Marvel and DC. You know.
He did. He definitely. Yeah, he did. He did some awesome stuff for Marvel and DC.
Yeah, he is really good. I love Jeff Lemire. Even his artwork, he is a really cool artist as well.
Yeah. So. You like kind of like what you were saying. I like how Matt Kindt has become ubiquitous and his name has gone everywhere. And I don't think he's ever written a Marvel or DC title. I don't think he ever will either. So I think that's pretty badass.
I will love it. After seeing Berserker, I will really love a Punisher run by Matt. That will be so cool.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be definitely very cool. So speaking of the Punisher, that was a very good segue, by the way. And you didn't even know that we were about to talk about the Punisher, but Punisher star Thomas Jane is teaming up with Logan screenwriter David James Kelly and Mike Carey, who you might know from Lucifer and The Girl with All the Gifts, on a Shot comic series called Lycan. This is the description is Year of Our Lord 1777. A hardened band of international big game hunters are returning from Africa. They're shipwrecked off a small British island. In exchange for new supplies and the repairing of their good ship, the Caledonian, Lord Ludgate engages the men for a task they are particularly well suited for. Find the berserking beast that has been eating his subjects, including a group of young Benedictine nuns, and destroy it. Sold. Sounds cool.
Oh yeah, and Thomas Jane is super underrated, man. I love that guy. The Mist, if you have seen The Mist, which is an adaptation of Stephen King, it's one of the best horror movie that's been done in a while. It's been released. Like I don't know when. It's been a while that movie has been released, but it's one of the horror movie that did really, really like the recent one that was not released like in the 80s and the 90s, like in the modern horror film. It's one of the best I've seen. Like that ending of the movie is just so good. If you didn't watch The Mist, go watch it. And Thomas Jane is so good into it. He brings some emotion, and he is a really great actor in this one.
So does he know how to? It's weird. Like we got Keanu doing Berserker, then we got Thomas Jane. Like there is a migration of like actors and musicians because Anthrax is also like has a comic book coming out. Like all the Z3 publisher, I think is what it's called. They have They have an
Yeah, they're releasing a lot of musical artists.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting trend to see non-comic people making comics. But then there's Mike Carey involved, so there's still like experienced comic writers involved with it.
Yeah, like with Keanu Reeves,
Yeah,
they,
yeah, right.
and just because most of the time, and I don't want to go into conspiracy and stuff like that. I don't know what was the involvement of Keanu Reeves, for example, on that one. But I think that you can't just bring, for example, the actor on the project, and he is the co-creator. He work on the story. He say, oh yeah, the script, I like that, but he's not really part of the writing process, but still a co-writer, because you can be credited as co-writer just being the guy that say, oh, change that, and that will be cool if the character do this, but never touch the script and be co-writer. So you can have like a, I think that there is even some project right now at some publishers that are ready to go. The script is ready to go, and they're just looking for an actor to join and just say 2, 3 change or adding some stuff to the story and say, oh yeah, he is co-creator of that thing. So I think it's a trend that's starting. It's super exciting to see some actors you love. I mean, I want to see film directors going to comics and do like sequels or spin-off they could not make of their movies because the studio will not give the budget, or they don't want to kind of like put 5 years of their life into a movie, because making a movie is like 3, 4, or 5 years of your life that you put into a movie. So it's need to be a project you really want to do. So I know that every director's got some project like that. It's just like, oh, I cannot put 5 years of my life doing that spin-off ideas that I have. But into a comics, it's a few months, you need to put into that. So I think it's going to be super interesting to see more creative directors and filmmakers going into comics just to do those pitches and ideas that they could not make into films.
I want a Jane Lynch comic. That's what I'm holding out for.
Hell yeah.
That would be great. Yeah, I love her.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah. So we were talking. It all comes full circle. We were talking about Matt Kindt. So here's another thing, and I'm interested in your take because we haven't talked about it on the show yet. But it's moving super fast. It's super kind of new. Matt Kindt is reviving his Mind MGMT series as an NFT comic. So the Artifact upcoming comic by Matt Kindt, it's being released through an auction as a one-of-a-kind NFT, which stands for non-fungible token.
Yep.
I've seen so many tweets about this, and I've heard about it. I still don't really understand what an NFT really is. Do you have any idea?
So I'm not like, I got a couple of friends into Bitcoin and shit like that, so it's pretty much what I understand from their thing, but there is a lot of element I don't know. So basically the NFT is used to make a blockchain, and blockchain is kind of a thing to mine coins, and mining coins, that's the part I don't understand. And it's looked like the most important thing about it. But yeah, the artwork and the buy, because you bid on the comics, you bid with Bitcoin or you bid on the artwork for it. So it's pretty much not bidding on something and getting it with virtual currency. So that's what he is doing. He is putting his digital copy, and there is like one copy available. That's why people bid. So they bid a lot of Bitcoins and all those currency on it. Just like, oh, there will be one copy of MGMT available through the NF something. And there is just one copy. So that's why a lot of people goes into it, because it's a bidding war. So probably Matt, with just his one issue, it could be raising $1 million in Bitcoin or something like that just for that thing. And that's all crazy it's going, because people want to rotate that money, because more that money is in circulation, more the value go up. So there is kind of a community thing going on. So that's really intelligent for him to do it now, because he got all the media attention and all the fan attention on it. So it's sure the press gonna go on, and I'm sure that you're gonna do a lot of money out of it.
So you buy. Let's say I bought it. What do I
Yep.
own? I just own the digital copy of it. I don't own
You
the.
own,
I don't own any IP, right?
You own the only available copy ever of the book in digital form.
Huh.
So it's a 101 but digital. So it's it's like if you had the biggest incentive copies ever at a retailer, but it's not physical.
So does that mean that he can never sell it digitally in any other form? Like it now belongs to me? Or?
It's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be that, but I know that I've seen other creators going to that trend, and what they do is actually like an exclusive cover for this monetary system, and they're still releasing their book with another cover. So pretty much like buying a virtual variant cover, but still have value because you can resell it for other bitcoins later on. So
My brain is just too small and too primitive to understand any of this stuff.
So it's pretty much doing speculation on stuff that are not physical. That's pretty much what's going on right now. It's just like now PDF has value of being something collector. You know, with this system in place, just like you can limit your books number of copies and stuff like that in PDF form with a different cover, and now those things can get value. So it's we are in the future, dude. Welcome to Matrix.
Speaking of the Matrix, actually, this really has nothing to do with the Matrix. Robo's here, so
Taco Bell, Matrix.
So Robo, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Kevin Roditeli.
Yo,
hello, dude. What's up, brother?
All you doing?
Chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing good, dude.
Good.
Robo, can you explain NFTs to me? Kevin did a really good job explaining it, but my little pea brain is still like struggling. What is that? What do you own when you buy? Like, if someone screenshots it, do you also own the screenshot that they just made, or like what? How does this work?
So check this out. You get Microsoft Office, right? And if you buy it, if you get at Microsoft Office right now, you got to put in like a code to prove to the licensing people that you own that copy of Microsoft Office, right? So they know it's not pirated. So each copy of Microsoft Office has its own little code, and that lets Microsoft know, yep, you got this software. Now, as art becomes more and more digital, and people are like some amazing artists are coming out on digital, and 50 years from now, maybe we don't even have paint anymore. I don't know. But as more digital artists come out, there's it's a lot more advanced than any string of numbers. It's crypto, and in the same way that there's cryptocurrency, and the code kind of exists in little parts along all the people who are part of this deal. And basically the bottom line is it's proof that you have that art is yours, that someone can have original art and it's yours. So I can go buy a Rembrandt right now from Ross for $12, but if I could prove it's original, then it'll be priceless, right?
So it involves computers. Got it. I'm just kidding. All right. So Ace says, you pay for the limited digital copy of something. Sometimes you own the rights and can share it. Other times you can. Blah, blah. Terrible for the... Okay. Oh, and it's bad for the environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why, though. Because all the computers that it takes to keep it alive?
The reason is actually because since mining bitcoins and mining coins, cryptocurrency takes so much electricity for when you put all the computers into servers and shit like that. It's just crazy, man. Like a server of mining, it's like 5 hours electricity or something like that. So there is some people that got like 20 servers in a room trying to mining some crypto, and you could light like a street with that house. That's crazy.
That's
dude.
crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is
I'll tell you this much. I have absolutely no clue like what it means to mine crypto and why you need 3080s and 3090s for it.
I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah.
Somebody explain it to me. Like you're developing an incredibly intricate code that's like completely impossible to reproduce, and that requires like a lot of computer power or something.
I guess something like that. You know, it's the future, dude.
It's the future.
Ace says Robo smashed an entire medium pizza. Yup. Give me 2 months. This has to do with a tweet I made. And give me 2 months. I'll hit that 30 pounds extra real quick.
Every pizza's a personal pizza if you believe in yourself.
That's right. Thanks, Comics on the Mind. We're doing the old stash. I think we all got a little stash here. All right. Okay.
Yeah. It's Mustache March.
There it is.
So you came just in time for Falcon and Winter Soldier chat, which is the last item that we have. We moved pretty fast today. Kevin, did you watch WandaVision, and have you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I watched a whole series of WandaVision in the first episode of Winter Soldier. Yeah, and
Nice.
the only thing I can say is Georges Saint Pierre. He is so fucking bad at acting, you do, because Georges Saint Pierre is from Quebec like me, and since he's speaking French, I can evaluate his acting skills, and it's the worst actor in the world. But people that doesn't understand French, you're like, oh, that's just the accent. So you don't realize how bad he is, but he is so freaking bad, man. Right now, our social media in Quebec, we're just like, oh man, this is like the worst representation we can have, because that dude can act like I don't know, man, like a BB, like an 8-month person that should play like a 40 years old guy. This doesn't make sense that dude is an actor right now, because this doesn't work.
Thankfully, I can't understand French, so it just seems like
right. And that's why I did it,
I love GSP anyway, because like I used to watch UFC way back, and GSP was the man. So I was like, that's all I get. Like, he's here again. Yeah, that's dope. I can't even tell he can't act, so that's good.
Yeah, and the most funny, because for example, I have a lot of friends that are French from France, and French from Quebec is super different. We got a really different accent, and GSP play like Betrock is a French from France, but his accent is from Quebec, so we are all laughing. It's like, dude, doesn't make sense, because our French from France, for example, would say je te casserai vraiment la gueule, but a French from Quebec would say je te casserai la gueule.
Way different.
Yeah, way
that's
different.
So different.
The accent is so different, so it doesn't make sense. Bedrock speak like a Quebec person and not like a French one. So it's kind of really funny for international people that see this, and all the Americans is just like, oh, GSP, it's cool. And it's like, oh, it doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you this. So, like, to an American, I'm going to speak for Robo. You can interject if I'm misrepresenting you. But to an American ear, the British variety of English sounds very like fancy and elevated.
Yep.
Almost like an aristocratic sound.
A very specific kind of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right.
Not Michael.
So if you're a French speaking, like a francophone person from Quebec, does French sound super fancy to you?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So the French France, it's the UK French. It's the two old countries, and we are the North America French. So we are the guys eating Taco Bell,
Yeah.
So, dude, our French is like we are the US version of French, So
French is like, those aren't even real snails.
No, you're right. There you go. But what is funny in the history, if we look the history of French, Quebec did keep the old version of French, and French from France is an evaluated. It's like the evolution of French that did grow up through times, and that's what's funny about it.
It's funny you said that, and I wonder how true this is for like other like Commonwealths and stuff like that, because like our Southern dialect is if when you get into it is supposed to be really close to how British people sounded, 500 years ago. So like the Alabama and West Virginia stuff.
Really?
Like, to us, it's just it's like it's when historians say like that sounds really British if you were 500 years ago, but how British people sound today is like you just said. It's just 500 years of evolution, and southern it just stayed the same. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
Eberonson, it's dialectically regional. What are you doing breaking out the 5-syllable?
No, he's right. So that's what I was saying. Is like I think there's we've seen all the British period pieces where it's like, oh, hello, do you want some tea? And then that sounds fancy, but then it's like, hey, you skank, you wench, and like that doesn't sound fancy to us. So,
so if they make a movie that takes place in like old England, it should be like, get in the truck over there. How you doing?
Maybe, I don't know. The Kentucky Holler is most accurate original British. Yeah, see, that's what it
is that Foghorn Leghorn? Is that the I say? No, never mind.
He must be. That sounds British from like 500 years
okay.
ago.
I did miss an important news item.
That's
from
right.
Ace.
That's right. Helen Mirren.
Helen fucking Mirren, which is Ace's favorite human, I think, of all time, is going to be the villain in the new Shazam movie, which is also going to have Pierce Brosnan playing Dr. Fate.
Dude,
I think
that's in Black Adam.
Oh, Black Adam. That's right, Black Adam.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm so excited. Like The Rock versus James Bond, man. What do you want more?
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope.
That is dope.
It's freaking dope, man. And I'm super happy to see again Pierce in a really mainstream movie. It's been a while that it was just like in direct to DVD or smaller flicks, and then see him back into something big is pretty cool.
It's weird, like when an actor kind of goes off the grid for like 10 years and then you see him again, it just looks like they've aged like 50 years when they've really just aged. They've really just aged 10 years.
It's always like that when someone do like a big franchise. They always disappear for a couple of years and they come back when they're old. You know, for example, I did follow Robert Pattinson because I really love all the ended flick he did after Twilight. But it's the same thing for the people that just saw him in Twilight for the mainstream stuff, and now he is Batman. But man, Robert Pattinson is one of my favorite actors. Like, I don't give a fuck of Twilight, but everything he did post-Twilight is just so brilliant, man. He's one of the best in the game. So I'm super excited for the Batman.
And that's the same with, like, that's like with Heath Ledger or Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Like, if you just judge them, just judge them based on their entry roles, like Titanic, which, by the way, nothing to scoff at. It's an incredibly successful movie. But, you judge him on Titanic, or you judge Heath Ledger off of, like, A Knight's Tale or something, or his earlier movies, like, you wouldn't really get a full understanding of like how good they actually are. He was
making romance comedy, you know.
I just want to take this opportunity to address our viewers. A while back, I said some things that were really insensitive. I was a different person then. I've grown since then, and I just want to say that sorry, Michael, for saying that you sounded not classy like 12 minutes ago. I've grown. I've grown since then, and I apologize. Was that a good enough apology? I apologize. I'm sorry.
That was really good. You touched all the apology bases.
Dude, I didn't know what was going on. I
saw your faces.
I was like,
oh shit.
I was like, should I quit now and just make sure I will not be the same screenshot of that
guy, So back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. What'd you guys think about that first episode? I thought it was incredibly badass, and I really loved it. What about you?
Personally, I did really, really love the intro with like everything's going off in the sky with the plane and stuff like that. And I thought after that, the episode was just going to the downfall for me. It was too intense at the beginning. You cannot go start that high and after going like that. It doesn't work for me, and it did really lose my attention because I'm not someone that is the target audience of superhero stuff normally. I'm not like I'm not like the biggest fan of MCU and stuff like that. I watch it when I'm like, oh, it's look interesting, but I'm not a big fan of superheroes movies. I don't, or at least the MCU. I don't like the formula. I just feel like I'm always watching the same thing. I know we can go into big argumentation there, but it's they really lost me after this sequence. Like the first sequence, I was like, "Oh damn, man! It's like Mission Impossible. Where is Tom Cruise?" And and after it was just like weird and kind of relationship between him and the old man for Bucky. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, honestly, for now. Just like I just feel like you're putting stuff in your episode to have like the running time you're looking for. But I don't think you should have that. Maybe the first episode just should have focus on Falcon and have like that first intro scene. And after he say no to be the next captain, and there is that U.S. agent that arrive, and boom, you got a first episode, 30 minutes, and it just would have been so a great episode. And after second episode, you go with Bucky, for example, and third episode they team up for the reason they need to team up. You know, that's all I will have build the show. But I'm not Kevin Feige and his team. You know.
I think I got spoiled with WandaVision. So like, I like the episode. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but my brain has to kind of get recaged to do like action regular stuff. Like I want to like, ooh, what do I gotta try to figure out this episode? And then it's like, nah, just kidding. I'm just gonna blow shit up. And then I'm like, oh, all right, I gotta turn my brain back off and just
Right.
enjoy Marvel. I like seeing some of the stuff, like as far as like the bank and him helping his sister in the boat, and I thought that was cool, kind of like humanizing and then showing like different levels of privilege and things like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like flashbacks of Bucky like assassinating people.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
The accents, all the action scene were really well directed. That's something I can say about the episode. Like the action scene really had my attention. But yeah, there is some stuff into it. I was just like, you could have cut that up the episode or just wait for the next one because it's the first one. You want to have this big bang and have everyone adding up the show. And I don't know if it's my Facebook feed and my Twitter, but I've just seen the Snyder cut everywhere and really few posts about Winter Soldier. And I think it did not really grab the attention of people. I'm sure
Did
the
you
show
watch
will
the
do
Snyder
really
cut?
well. Of course, man. I'm a big Schneider fan, so I was ready.
Wow.
I was part of the hashtag since the first fucking day, dude.
All right,
So I was super excited. Watchmen, the movie, was what did put me into comic books. I was not a comic book guy before that movie. I did go to the theater and I watched. I saw that movie, and at that moment I realized that comic book are not just like good guy punching bad guys and stuff like that. Because I was not into comics, I did not know it was more than that. Like most people are not into comics. So after watching Watchmen, I did go to the local comic book shop and I said, "Hey, I want a graphic novel named Watchmen. Can you give it to me?" I did take Watchmen, read it. I fucking love the book. The next day, I go to the comic book shop and open a pull list, and since then, it's my drug. I'm reading comics.
So I liked the Snyder cut. But would you say that maybe there might have been just a little bit too much slow motion? Maybe just a little?
So I think for all the flash scenes, it's make a lot of sense. Like if we think science wise, it's normal. It's always those slow mo. And personally, I love Zack Snyder's style, and the slow mo it's really part of his style. And all his movies are like out of slow mo. And personally, when I love a filmmaker, it's most of the time because of his visual. And I love the visual of Schneider. Like every frame is a painting, and that's what I love about Schneider. They could be wordless, and I will still love his movies because I will just look at painting like if I was at a really artsy museum. So and I love all those fancy filmmakers like Nicolas from Refn, Gaspar Noé, which is a French filmmaker doing like stuff like that. And I think that Zack Snyder is the perfect mix between those indie artsy filmmakers and the mainstream movies. And that's why I love Zack Snyder. He really combined those two perfectly. And he can touch the mainstream at the same time doing art pieces that I feel that sometimes popcorn movie cannot be. And it doesn't work really well because, I mean, the reception of his films has not been the best ever, and the box office numbers as well. But for me, it's kind of the middle ground of what I love that I found in Schneider.
Cool.
I'm kind of. It's kind of sad that you haven't been with us and watched us like for the past like year, 6 months, because you are the balance we've needed. Because we've been talking shit about you Snyder Bros for a long time.
Well,
you can't. And no, don't back down. Don't back down just because he's here.
No,
but I like your opinion. I like your opinion. I wish you had been here. I'm like, you know what? That's a good point.
I've always been.
Let's go into it, guys. Let's go into it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I've been consistently lukewarm towards Snyder for at least the last 10 months.
Chat.
Oh.
Chat. Come on.
Man.
Is he telling the truth?
Name
I don't believe
one
it.
bad thing. One bad thing I've said about Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I should have wrote them all down.
Should have written them down.
Just what?
No,
Why did you say my name? I'm sorry.
So Batman versus Superman, good movie.
The Ultimate Cut, yes.
Okay, I have heard that. I've heard that but the original one was not.
It's not the best Schneider movie, but I love Schneider as a filmmaker. So anything
So
he will do,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's the type of creator that you love or hate.
Sure. I don't hate Zack Snyder. and
callback.
in the whole like Snyder Cut thing, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. But I'll tell you the running theme behind. So I'll let you respond to this since you're a big fan. The running theme behind a lot of our like ribbing was more along the lines of. There you go.
Hello, Schneider, buy my book.
Yeah, but it's more along the lines of this. Is Twitter Snyder Bro Twitters was saying there's this Snyder Cut that's out there, and then I'll be completely honest, and if Judah was too, he would say the same. We're like, stop, just stop. It doesn't exist. Stop.
I did say that.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden there's these clips, and then some of the actors are getting on board, and then like even Zack Snyder does #release. And we're like, okay, maybe there's something out there. Time goes by, and then we say, hey, then we get the announcement. It's gonna be made. So it's like this whole big, I fucking told you it exists. Okay. Now I'm like, like you're eating crow, and it's like, okay, I got me.
Not me. I was like, I was just, to me, it was just like oh, I guess it is the thing. Like,
I didn't mean like motherfucker. No. It was like, okay, like all right, it exists. But, and this is where I want you to respond. As the news keeps coming out, it becomes reshoot after reshoot after reshoot, and then we had the budget of a small country. I think it cost like $2.8 trillion extra to remake, and then you have that. Did it ever really exist, or did they just let him finish his vision?
So the Schneider Cut was existing in early stage. I mean, the most of the stuff were storyboarded. But for example, there is some stuff were shot, but the VFX was not done, and they did add some scene that were just on script. Like the whole thing was written, and that's why it's
not a cut.
Not a cut. It's not a cut, but the concept of the whole thing was already put together, and that was the initial version of Schneider. Because when you make a movie, every movie is for a long world. It's 4 hours long. Just like we got a cut because theaters want a movie that is short to have the maximum of screen time. And it's to make the best box office and stuff like that. So studios and theater work together on do that. But most movies are 4 hour longs in the initial form and the vision of the director. And Schneider films really need time to be good. And that's why it's part of his style. Like you said, there is a lot of slow-mo and stuff like that. Well, when you do a lot of slow-mo, you need a lot of of time to make your story. And that's part of his style. So you cannot cut a movie of Schneider and make it a 1 hour and a half just because Schneider has a lot of exposition. That people that love Schneider's love his images. So you take a lot of time for you to look at and just say, oh, your shot is beautiful, Schneider. So it's part of his style to make long movie. And we need it. I think, for example, I don't think if at the moment is Schneider, the initial release of the Justice League, it was a Snyder version that was released, it would not have been good as well, because it would have been a 2 hour movies. But that version of the film was only working at that maybe at 3.5 hours would have worked. There was some stuff that could have been cut, but 3 hours and a half was the minimum. And there is all the reason in the world for Schneider to take that long of the running time of the movie to explain, because he has so many characters to introduce to make sense with that story. And the movie is released after what Marvel did, and it's pretty much the same thing, Man, hell yeah, Danny, man. If I see you at a convention, I'm gonna buy you a beer, dude. But yeah, Schneider was coming now with a movie that was pretty much the same thing that Thanos did. I mean, they're collecting mother boxes, but Thanos was connecting the shit on his gauntlet. It's the same fucking story arc.
Yeah, no, we saw that. Yep.
So that was a big issue with the film. You need time to explain that. But Marvel took I don't know how many movies to build up that thing. And Schneider was like, oh, you need to make it now, the big thing. And Schneider is already a filmmaker that needs time to explain his shit. And it's part of his style. So even the version that would have been released at that time, the Justice League initial release, would have been bad. It was impossible to make a 2 hour film with the vision of Schneider and the plan of Schneider's. That was a trilogy of Man of Steel, BVS, and that movie, and that's why the BVS Ultimate Cut is a really fucking masterpiece. I think it's personally, I will say that's the long cut is a masterpiece of comic book genre.
I did enjoy Batman beating the ever-living shit out of Superman. I always enjoy seeing that.
There you go.
So that was good. Cool. All right. So it's safe to say you are on the pro Snyder Cut group.
Of course, man. Where is my shirt? I will go put my hashtag shirt. But something I want to add into this, like the restart of Snyderverse, people stop with that. I'm sorry, I'm super Schneider, but Evan Schneider. No.
Super Snyder.
No,
Awesome.
But it doesn't make sense. And Evan Schneider doesn't want that. He just don't see it right now for the promotion of his movie and to have good numbers because, well, he is a filmmaker and he wants still to have a good relationship with HBO Max and Warner, so you want the best numbers for that. And it was signed months and months, even years when they did that. Oh, we stopped there because, well, it was an 11-year journey. And Schneider doesn't want to make DC films for all his life. He is already on a movie with Netflix for Army of the Dead. They were making a TV series for Army of the Dead. And he said that he got like 20 other projects that he want to do. Like every creators, we all have many ideas and stuff we want to develop, but life is short. And Schneider is like, I think he's 55 years old. And
he also loves money, just like all of us. So I mean, I'm sure there's a number if Warner Brothers thought it was worth their time, which
of
I don't
course,
know.
But they won't do it. They won't do it because there is multiple reasons. Well, the Schneider movies were the one of all the DC films that did the worst at the box office. Those movies are hate or loved by the community, even the mainstream audience. I think those movies were really hard to connect with the mainstream audience, and they were rated R for most of the. I think the 3 were rated R, except the Justice League with Whedon. So you already the Schneider touch is not for kid. You're losing a really big batch of the audience that you can have with comic book movies, and I think that they understood that pushing the universe like Marvel did was not a good plan because they don't have time for that. They already did like 28 movie and you come in with a universe and you need to go there. That was a big problem and they did a mistake with that to go to really rush a universe on Schneider. And I think all the movies will be way better if Schneider had time because Man of Steel to me is probably one of the best after the Richard Donner cut. It's probably the best Superman film to me.
So, Kevin, can we get Suicide Squad opinions?
This is how you know that this audience does not get a lot of pro Snyder stuff. Just so you know.
Suicide Squad is a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. I would agree.
So now your credibility and ability to see past your bias is up with me. Like now now I'm trusting even more of what you say because if you had said that was it, I saw that I'm like I'm gonna see if this guy says Snyder Cut's a good movie. Suicide Squad is a good movie. I'm like every day I just go flush.
No. It's a really bad movie and a lot due to the editing. The movie was edited by a trailer movie company because Warner Brothers wanted the movie to go out fast. So they did actually put a trailer form to edit the movie, and that's why the movie is so over the place because they are making trailer normally. So that's why the movie really sucked. And I'm not even interested in the Ayer cut, and I don't think Ayer is interested in Evan Warner Brothers. No one want to see that.
Yeah. Right, absolutely, 100%.
If they had gotten 4 hours, do you think it'd be good?
Oh gosh, I'm not interested. Honestly, I don't think so. And David Ayer is a good filmmaker. I think Fury, one of this film he did that was with Shia LaBeouf and Brad Pitt, a war film, was really good. But he was not the best guy for Suicide Squad. I don't think the project is even good in the Ayer cut probably, and he knows it. That's why he even said on Twitter, "I don't want to do the Ayer cut."
I think the cuts are behind us. I think DC on film is probably going to just go in a completely different direction from here. Yeah. So I want to thank you for joining us. It was fun having you here.
A pleasure, dude.
We would love to have you again at some point.
Anytime.
Yeah. So yeah, if anyone's interested in, you have 2 days to order. You have 2 days to order Freak Snow, and it'll be coming out at the last Wednesday in May. So make sure you pick that up. Do you have anything else? Do you have any last parting words for our audience, or anything that you'd like to leave us with? Words of advice, maybe.
Last words.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to my Schneider fanboy thing, and and thank you for everyone that did and will Preorder Freak Snow. It's super appreciated because we did work really hard on that book, and we're super proud of it. And we can't wait for you to jump into the Freak Snow universe because we are with big ambition with it. Thank you, dude. And we have big ambition with it. There is many spin-off and mini-series coming in the Freak Snow world. We are building a universe with that thing. It's the first one. It's the first arc that will really start the expansion of the universe. And we want to push it to other medium. For example, we have a board game of Freak Snow in development at the moment. And we are pushing the EP, and we really want to make something big. So every order is important right now because, well, if we want to do all these things, it needs to make sense financially. Like a Schneider Cut, for example, it's needed to make sense financially to happen. And it's the same thing for the Freak Snow Cut, I guess.
Awesome.
That's dope. Ladies and gentlemen, NBs, that is the end of our show. Thank you so much. I apologize for coming in 45 minutes late, but
you should.
I made it, and I appreciate all the positive comments and interaction in the chat, and for finally having somebody to say something, a lot of something about positive things about the Snyder Cut. So that's good. That was a good change of pace.
No, man, and we got Iron Man just there, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's an Iron Man. Yeah,
an Iron Man.
Yeah. All right, y'all. You guys take it easy. Don't forget to wash your hands. Go get vaccinated if you can. But if you can't, wash your hands and do all that stuff anyway. See ya.
Hell yeah. Bye bye.